This tutorial is going to discuss the budgeting game and its objectives. When you start the budgeting game, you're either going to be a student with a part-time job or a worker who just graduated school starting their first full-time job depending on your class settings. If you start the game as a student, halfway through the game you may graduate and start your full-time job depending on your class settings. You're going to progress through a simulated year or longer and building up your net worth, credit score, and quality of life along the way. Your decisions throughout the game matter, so make sure you plan wisely. When you start the game, you're going to see the scenario that you've started in. This is going to be chosen by your teacher or professor when they created your class. You'll see the scenario here explaining if you're starting your part-time job or if you're starting your full-time job after graduation. On the top of the screen, you'll see all of your starting positions. So how much net worth do you have to begin with, your credit score, your current quality of life, which should be 0 if you're just starting, the amount of money in your checking and savings accounts, how many bills you have outstanding that you need to pay, and how much money you currently have in your credit card against your credit limit. Your game score is going to synthesize these into one big score, telling you how well you've done throughout the game. You'll also see how much of the game you have to play, and this is going to be set by, again, your teacher or professor, along with how many months you've completed and how many months you have left to play. By clicking Play Game, you'll begin. Now, the first things you're going to be prompted to do are make some choices about how you want to start out your life. Now, for many of the options throughout the game, you're going to have several different options to choose from. These have long-ranging impacts throughout the entire game, including the other kinds of events that are going to happen to you throughout the game and will impact your quality of life. For example, taking this 2-bedroom apartment is a lot more expensive than taking a smaller studio apartment, but I will get a lot more quality of life points as the game goes on if I have a larger, more luxurious place to live. For now, I'll just take the center options for each one. To play the game, you'll click the dice, which will move you through the month of the current month. You'll move forward a half a day for each dice roll. So for example, if I roll a 5, I will move forward 2.5 days. You'll also have events that happen throughout the game that you have to take advantage of. So for example, each weekend you'll be asked on how you want to spend your weekend. You can divide that between working extra hours for extra income, spending time with your friends, working on chores, or either studying or conducting professional development, whether you are a student or a worker. Depending on the choices that you make, you'll be getting events that pop up through the game, which will either be a bit of small income, like this, I just added some extra money in my checking account, or more likely an unexpected expense. There's also mini lessons throughout the game, where by taking on a mini lesson, you'll have a small informational lesson talking about a personal finance topic you'll need to complete before you can progress through the game. You will use the information in these mini lessons to answer the challenge questions on each of these cards. So for example, I know off the top of my head that the interest rate on my credit card is 20%. And as my dice roll moves through, you can see I have bills that start to become due as the game progresses. Now, each month you'll be able to see how much income you're going to earn, a list of hours and the paychecks you can expect to receive. You can identify how much money you'll actually earn by summing these up. So I'm earning $800 on each paycheck. I'm getting 4 paychecks this month, so I should be earning $3,200. You will have income tax taken off of your earnings, so your actual take-home is going to be significantly less. You'll also be challenged to sum up all the expenses that you're going to see throughout the month, including all of your bills, some variable expenses, and you'll need to make some kind of guess as to other unexpected expenses that might pop up. Your first month or two of the game that you complete, this might be a complete guess, but as you get a little bit more experience understanding what kinds of expenses can happen in the real world, you'll be more effective at guessing at this number. Finally, you'll need to set a savings goal for each month. Generally speaking, you're going to earn the most points in the game if you save at least 10% of your income. So if I'm making this amount of money, I'm going to save at least $300, which is a little bit more than 10% of the amount I'm expecting to earn. Now, this is not going to be very easy because I'm only expected to have about this much extra after I've paid all my bills. So I need to be careful with all the other unexpected expenses and try to manage them the best that I can. And once I have all of these set, I will start my month and start progressing. At the end of each dice roll, you'll get an event card. This can either be a choice, like I have here, where I have 2 options to choose from, or it might just be an expense that you can't avoid. Generally speaking, taking the more expensive options is going to improve your quality of life, but make it much harder to stick to your budget. And for every purchasing decision you make, you can choose to either use your debit card, which takes the money out of your checking account, or use your credit card, which will take it out of your available credit. So for this transaction, I'll use my credit card. Now you can see here, I have my rent bill, which has been issued. You can see this gray icon means this is when each bill is issued each month, and then after it's issued, you can see its due date with the colored icon below. You can see each invoice on the left side of each page. See how much is due, and choose to either pay off the bill using your debit card or credit card. If you don't pay your bills on time, you'll take a 10% penalty, so it's very important to pay all of your bills as soon as you possibly can. Progressing through the game is as easy as clicking the dice, which will move you forward another few days in the game, depending on what your dice roll was. Bigger rolls means you'll go farther days without having unexpected expenses, while shorter rolls means that you're going to get more expenses racking up very quickly. You can also manage your credit card on this side of the page here. So even if your credit card bill hasn't come due yet, you can make early payments. So we can see here, I currently owe $63 on my credit card. I'm going to choose to pay it off early, which means that I've increased my credit limit because my credit score has increased. Using your credit card and paying off the bill on time will increase your credit score as the game is played. You can also see that I've started to earn some quality of life points. This is because I've made payments on my rent, I've chosen some options on the choices I've made that gave me points, and I set a realistic savings objective. I'll get even more points if I actually hit that savings objective by the end of the month. To make your savings objectives, you'll use your financial summary on the side of the page. You'll click Transfer Money to move money from your checking account to your savings account. So I'll start out by moving $200 over to my savings account. You can see immediately most of my net worth is now in my savings account, and I have very little in my checking account. Only $55 left, but my savings balance has gone up. You can click on your account summary to see more information about the total amount of spending you've done in the month, including the different factors that are going into your net worth. If I continue my dice rolls, I will get to my Friday paycheck. And you can see here, I've earned my first paycheck. My pay stub shows a complete breakdown of all of the tax withholdings, and I will deposit directly to my checking account. Progress through the game to get to the end of each month and hit your savings goals on time in order to maximize your game score and extra points. Make sure you pay your bills on time, so keep an eye on the items on the left side of the page to make sure that each bill gets paid before the due date. If you're finding you're struggling to reach all of your savings goals, one of the easiest ways can be to change your expenses. So for example, I have quite high rent that I have to pay. I do have the option to change to a cheaper apartment, and these options prices will change every time I look, but I will have to pay a fee in order to break my current leasing change providers. You can also change your TV and internet plan, your cell phone plan, and the types of groceries you buy. But other than groceries, you don't have much of a choice. Other than groceries, you will pay a fee to break your contract each time. Groceries is the only option you can always change for free. For more information about all the different parts of the game, watch our other tutorials talking about setting your savings goals, understanding your credit score, understanding your quality of life, understanding your net worth, and maintaining a healthy work-life balance.